Well, good everybody. Sam Marwood here from Cultivate Farms. We are all about making farm dreams a reality for all you aspiring farmers out there. And we've been wondering, we've been thinking about how do we spread the word more that anyone out there who has a farming dream, whether you've been farming for many years, whether you've inherited the farm, whether you're going to inherit it, or whether you grew up in the city and have no farming experience at all, that your dream can be made a reality. So we thought, why not start interviewing some of these aspiring farmers that have been in touch with us? And one of them is right here in front of you now, Pete Mercurio. Pete, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sam. Cheers.
Mate, thanks for, you're the first one we've interviewed in terms of aspiring farmers, so we appreciate you putting the hand up to let us into your heart and your home and your farming
Not a
dreams.
problem.
Well, we've got a bunch of questions to flow through, but the main aim here is we want to show everyone in Australia that you could be at any stage of your farming dream, and it doesn't matter what stage you're at. We want to support you to get on your farm. And I spoke with Pete about a month ago around his dream, and it made me cry. And I just realised that this man's got an amazing story that needs to be shared, and we want to encourage others with similar stories or even different stories just to get out there and have a crack at the farming dream. So, Pete, to start off with, can you describe to everybody what your dream farm would be? Where is it? What do you farm? And what's a perfect day?
Um, well, my perfect farm or location is kind of two areas. One is the Upper Yarra catchment region, King Lake kind of area. The reason mainly is last year I was able to work at Melbourne Uni doing some fire ecology work. It was a good 4-month contract out in the bush all day, every day. Loved it. I love the area. That's what draws me to that region particularly. Mm. And then the other is down in the Colac, Otway Ranges, Anglesey area, mostly because I've been going down there since I was a kid, and I'm fortunate enough to have my sister who has a home down there now, so I get down there pretty regularly. So they're the two main regions that I'd love to have a farm in at some point. But yeah, for the majority of my time, it's been spent in the city and working in the city. But I don't particularly see myself, one, owning a home here, two, wanting to own a home here, mostly because I'm priced out of the market. And at the same time, I would prefer to live on land and grow my own produce and be a farmer. That would be my ultimate goal. And dairy farming is probably the one that stands out to me the most. But I had a fruit delivery business back in Portland, Oregon for a while. So produce would certainly be close to that too. So, yeah.
That's interesting. And what do you do now? Pete, you're in Melbourne?
I'm in Melbourne, yeah. I'm in Melbourne now, and I do a couple of things. My main work history, and it's kind of what I'm doing now, is in energy efficiency. Currently working at the City of Yarra, at the Yarra Energy Foundation, as the solar projects manager. And I also do a bit of waste auditing for another company in the city, in town, and do waste reporting for commercial buildings in the city. Businesses like the World Trade Center, for example, and we try and get people to change their behavior in terms of how they recycle at work. And that's kind of very similar to kicking off any type of energy efficiency, residentially or commercially. It's all about changing behavior and how we do things, which is why Cultivate Farms is right up there in terms of a template, because you are changing behavior in the way business and farming is done and operated and owned. So that really drew me to you and Cultivate Farms, and I think it's awesome. So I just want to transfer skills I already know with skills I don't know, but want to get into and know, like the back of my hand. So hopefully we can do that.
Hey, love it. Wow, what an answer. Mate, we'd love to get you on your farm. I'm pumped up just listening to you. So next question, you've got these dreams to be a farmer, but you're there in Melbourne. Looks like I can see a tram going by behind you there. What's stopping you? What is stopping you from getting on that farm right
now? Mostly putting the financial costs aside, because that's clearly the biggest hurdle and biggest challenge. It's a pathway to farming, I think, is the most tricky, the trickiest, because, from the city, I studied natural resource management, spoke to a lot of people in that undergrad, came off a farm and were studying agriculture. but their fathers owned farms, their mothers owned farms, their grandfathers, grandparents all owned farms. They went back generation, 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 and knowing how expensive it is just to run a farm, I can't even fathom getting the money to start one. Um, yeah, so it's prohibitive for me, for someone who would love to be a farmer. There's just no real pathway. And Cultivate Farms matching a real need of retiring farmers who don't have someone to pick up the reins, I think is awesome.
Yeah.
And not only that, there are so many other added benefits you could do in a modern age farm, getting people working on your farm from different backgrounds. I'm already like, the wheels of my head are already spinning about what could happen on the land itself. And yeah, I just think it's so appealing. I just don't know if I can do it without being a part of Cultivate Farms.
This is brilliant, mate. This is you're making me excited. So it sounds like it's the pathway to the finances, and is it also the pathway to having the skills? So how are you going to, or how do you get farm ready? What are you doing, and what do you need? What support do you need?
Yeah, so to give you a long-winded answer, all the people I did study with, they would learn those skills when they were 4 years old. Like they would be out in the farm with whomever, going about the daily business. They already know, it's ingrained knowledge.
Yeah.
And you can study it in a book and call someone and ask them how you do things, but you don't really know until you get your hands dirty in the earth, in the ground, at the farm. And I don't know how it's not set up through a TAFE system, or maybe it is, but being able to tap into the knowledge of an existing farmer who's passionate about farming and wants to teach someone how to farm, and me being there while being like financially compensated for being there and learning all those skills. Who knows? It will obviously take me a lifetime to know everything, but to get me kickstarted and going, being paired with someone who's interested or has been interested in something that I'm passionate about, I can't see how that would fail necessarily. So, yeah, that's a big one for me too. Being able to learn from someone is key for the success of Cultivate Farms and really my farm in the long term.
I love it, because we've been thinking about a mentor program where we can match aspiring farmers with a current farmer. So even though you don't have a farm now, there's so many things you could be learning and getting your head around from these people out in the land already, and that's a great way also to build a relationship. So hopefully they'll give you the farm in a few years' time when they're ready.
Yeah, and also like just not only knowing how to grow at a large scale, but also where you're sending out your produce to, or your cattle or whatever, that business side of it. I feel like I've got a relatively okay business mind, but I don't have any of those contacts or networks or anything like that. So taking away that knowledge process would be really helpful, and it'll have huge cost savings attached to it as well.
Love it. And that's why we love the idea of having the retiring farmers involved, is that they've got all this knowledge, not only of the farm, but of business. And to be able to hand that on, I think is really powerful. And it's just not supported, or I haven't seen any really great mentoring programs like that, or that ability to share your legacy. It's usually you sell up and move away from the community, and that's it, which just seems really sad.
Yeah, who doesn't want to share a legacy? We all want to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you've talked about all these positives. What makes you nervous about Cultivate Farms? Is it something? So we're matching you with investors, we're matching you with retiring farmers. We're cutting the time frame that is needed for you to get on a farm. So usually, I think we did some calculations. It's going to take 32 years at an average wage to earn enough to buy an average farm. So we're cutting that down to make it shorter. So that means you're going to be on the farm quicker than what you normally thought. So what are those the things that make you nervous, or is there something else?
What makes me most nervous, I suppose, is look, the change of lifestyle is a fear, obviously. Still not used to it.
Yeah.
And I might be all psyched and ready to go today, but after 6 months, after a year, 2 years, I would question, do I still want to do this? Particularly if things are getting harder, or the working relationship isn't going so well, drought, so many different factors which you have little control over. So you do have to take a leap of faith in that respect. And that's exciting, but with excitement comes a bit of fear. So that's a big challenge for me. And also, having enough income to survive and have a lifestyle outside of it It requires a heck of a lot of hours to be a farmer and actually do the work on the farm. So I'm prepared for that just because I know I like doing the work, even the really crappy side of things. Like, it's not glamorous, and nor it will ever be. And, I know that. So it's all good. But yeah, financially, a lot of us who have mortgages are under mortgage stress. Me just thinking about my HEX debt makes me like nervous as all hell. But yeah, there's all these fears that I can't control, or there's no controlling aspect to it. So I either let go and just go with it, go with the flow, and trust in what Cultivate Farms are doing, trust in the relationship that I'll foster and build with the farmer, and trust in the business processes itself.
Mm. Yeah.
And whatever happens, happens. That's all you can really do. It's a bit bigger, I suppose. In scope, but then like having a regular job in Melbourne. But at the same time, the nature of work is changing too. So that's not exactly filling me with a bunch of confidence. So I may as well like jump into something that I like fully invest myself in, and I kind of take a long-term approach to it. So don't expect this farm to be handed to me tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of dialogue, a lot of discussion, and a lot of building. So I'm prepared for that. But that's I think another large challenge with this whole process.
Love it. And there are a couple of points I want to pick up on there, which is that longevity. So you might not get your farm straight away, and I think it's also the other point is this: you got to get yourself mentally prepared. So we've put out requests. There's a couple of dairy farms in Northern Victoria. We've said which we're looking into. We've got investors looking into now. We'll put a call out, and people have said, "Oh, no, I don't really want to move there," which is fine. But it got me realizing, we've got to make sure people are prepared mentally for what could happen. So lots of people go, "I want to be in northern New South Wales. That's where I live, and that's where I want to stay." But maybe the opportunity is in southern New South Wales. So what are you willing to do? How much are you willing to change and risk to follow your dreams? I think is a big mental step. We're encouraging people to think about and plan early, because it might, yeah. And the other point, it might take 5 years for you to get onto your farm, but yeah, are you ready to pounce when you are farm ready and when the opportunity arrives, or are you going to be sitting there nervous, going, "Oh, I'm not ready. I'm not ready."
Yeah, I get a call from you tomorrow. Hey, we got a farm. Hey, you ready? Sure, no problems.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the reasons. Another reason why I reached out to you was because I do see this happening in 5 years from now, not tomorrow. And I'm going to be very different in 5 years too, most likely.
Yeah.
And in that respect, I probably won't mind where I'm living so much, because there's a great opportunity that I've been building for the past 5 years, say. So I'm not fixed into a specific area or region, mostly because I like most places in Victoria anyway. But I mean, ideally, it would be in the locations that I said earlier. But if you're being in my position, you're doing all this work trying to set this up, and the farmers there ready to go, and I meet them and we get along great, then it's about, in the end, it's more about community and working relationships, and geographic locations don't matter so much ultimately. Like, it's not like I'm moving to, I don't know, Western China or somewhere in India where, probably wouldn't want to do that there. But being 3.5 hour drive, 4 hour drive from places which I would visit every so often, like I already do in Melbourne, like it's not a huge deal for me. So yeah, this slow process of mentally preparing yourself is one of the strengths in the end of Cultivate Farms. And that's another side of things of how to make this successful. So yeah,
That's good. Yeah, and that's it. I think a lot of people are sitting there going, "Oh, I can never be a farmer, so I won't think about this." But we want to snap them and go, "No, you can be a farmer. Now start thinking about it. Treat this like you're an entrepreneur and you're selling this new app you've developed, and you've got to be thinking about, where am I going to move? How much do I need? Have I got the skills?" Get yourself mentally fired up so you will go through those, take the steps you need to get farm ready and mentally prepared to shift 300 kilometres. From where you are now.
I could be a farmer. All right.
That's it. Get pumped.
Nice. Be anything at any time. It's great. We're very lucky.
Pete, this is great. Now, only a couple more questions, mates. Membership. So you need to sign up to Cultivate Farms, and that allows you to be on our list, and you'll be eligible for farms, and also means you'll be able to bring farms to us. So if you find a retiring farmer or one on the market that looks awesome, we'll be able to unpack it with you and take it to investors
Yeah.
and talk with the retiring farmers about it. But what are the other things you would expect from membership if you were sitting there clicking the button right now to sign up for this yearly membership? What are some of the, and it can be anything crazy. We can probably add it to the list later if we don't have it already.
Yeah, sure. I think one of the things that would be really attractive, obviously you're working with farmers. So if I was to get weekly produce or something, or a monthly produce bag, or like milk or something like that, somewhere, it's logistically feasible for you guys to do that delivery service. Don't know how you go about doing that, obviously, but like I would totally pay $100 membership
That's
or whatever. To get something in return, not just a database of farmers ready to talk to an aspiring farmer and vice versa. Like that's all well and good, but it doesn't give the individual as a member like anything tangible necessarily. It's more of the warm fuzzy feelings in the end, and that's all well and good, but you need to get a wage to continue to do the great work that you do, and I need to feel a part of it somehow, and I think that's a good kind of pathway in which to do that. So that's the main thing that kind of stands out. Other than that, what more can you do really? So got to work within your own square. So
that's good. I really like that, because I think that point on what tangible to get out of this, it's going to be tricky for us to be able to promote that. So the main thing is that you have this opportunity to fulfill your farming dreams, but how do you put a price on that, or how do you quantify that? So that then we're thinking, how else do we provide value as a member? And so maybe, being able to provide the produce, I think is a good one. The other things we're thinking of is providing discount to other memberships, other farm-related memberships, and also education, online courses, etc. So I think because people love our story and love the hope that we're bringing and the chance to get hundreds of young people and aspiring people, farmers back to the land, they are willing to cut some deals. So I think that's the other thing we're really trying to focus on, is how do we, for $150 or whatever the membership is, you get so many X hundreds of dollars in return. So you've touched on that point that it's that tangibility is the tricky thing for us at the moment. But we'd love, anyone else has any ideas like that, let us know around how we can provide more value as to all our amazing members.
Yeah, I like it. Very nice.
Pete, have I not asked a question that you've been dying to answer? Is there anything else you want to tell the Australian public?
No, you've you hit the right questions at the right time, and
great.
I hope I've answered them as best as I can. Loving what you're doing. I talk about Cultivate Farms pretty regularly with a lot of folk who are interested in just the urban food space and the food space generally. And not one person says that's a dumb idea. No, everyone's pretty excited to see where it goes. In terms of like the finer details, I say, oh, you should talk to Sam. But people certainly see the need, and there's a gap, and there's certainly an area where we can make an improvement here. When you've got housing affordability such an issue, when you've got people moving outside of regional areas constantly over the past 15, 20 years, this is a great way of fixing both of those in a small way. So, I couldn't be happier being a part of the journey with you, mate.
Champion. And so if I'm a retiring dairy farmer, Pete, or I'm an investor right now, and I think, well, Pete's got a bit of up and go, how should I get in contact with you? Do I'll just, other than your profile, is that the main one on the Cultivate Farms website?
Yeah, you can email me, I guess, but Facebook's easier. Or you can just call me on 0474 585
555.
If they're around, I'd happy to drive out, meet them, talk to them, even clean the shit out of the barn. Like, not a problem.
Love it, Pete. Man, if I was a retiring farmer, I'd take you on right now. But mate, thank you very much for your time. Anyone else who's out there who wants to be a farmer as well, we'd love to do this sort of interview with you and spread the word that anyone at any stage, anywhere in life, with any type of farming passion can be a farmer. It's possible now. We just want you to get excited and pumped up. So Pete, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
We'll catch up for a coffee in Melbourne when I'm down next.
Sounds brilliant. Thank you, Sam.
All right, mate. Cheers.
Bye.